Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
There you go.
Yeah. Not just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
We're going. Welcome to Middle Aged Mediocre. It's Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho!
We're recording on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we are.
Ho, ho, ho,
Ho,
Joel.
ho, ho.
And a bottle of...
Rum?
I got something around here we can
You gave
drink.
me a bottle of water.
I did.
It's half gone.
Ho, 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 and a bottle
I
of
spilled
water.
it all over your floor.
But Merry Christmas.
Merry
You brought gifts.
Yeah.
You brought me a torso.
Brought you a torso.
Doc Hendricks. And some cards. And a thing that we're going to make videos with.
Yeah, some lighters.
Some lighters. I'm all
Some
set.
of your little sports cards that you like.
My little sports card.
Your
silly little hobby.
silly little. Yeah, I brought you some of those.
But I appreciate it. I always love sports cards. I gave up sports gambling and betting so I could then just buy sports cards. So, I mean, I guess it's okay. Like, I don't know.
You're kind of gambling on those that you might find one that's
I do
super
with the packs.
expensive. Have you sold any, or do you just buy?
I just buy
Right now, you're just collecting. You're accumulating mass
eBay.
of
My
cards.
one transaction on eBay scared me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got ripped off for like 120 some bucks on that, and I don't know if I want to just be sending stuff out there and not getting paid for it.
Just because you get hurt once, man.
Yeah, you gotta put yourself back
make
out
sure
there.
you never. No. The opposite. Make sure you never get hurt again. Hurt yourself way more than anyone else will ever hurt you.
That'll show.
Yeah. Who's king of the hurt now, huh? You are. But you have your cards.
I have my cards.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
No, I do think I might buy like packs. I keep reading all these people where they bitch about how many people just buy packs and they don't know what they're going to get. It's easier just to buy what you want. And I was always just like, why is everybody in this hobby such an asshole?
I know, just let people
do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But now that I've bought quite a lot of
Yeah.
boxes and packs, and like now that I'm like on eBay constantly, I'm like, oh, it is actually just way easier to buy the ones you want. But
Yeah.
I'll still buy some because I like the...
It's fun to open them.
I'm a sucker for I don't know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, I like opening old ones.
The old ones, yeah.
Yeah, we found that pack at Peddler's Junction. I've been getting into VHSs. I finally got
You
a
have?
VCR.
I love VHS.
It started because I had they had all three Back to the Futures, like really good shape at the Goodwill for $1 each.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought those just because I have other Back to the Future stuff. I like those movies.
Yeah, they're good movies.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
not 3 so much, but
yeah, not 3 at all, but it was there, so I bought it. You know, it completes the trilogy.
they're way better than the video games.
I've never even played the video games.
The Nintendo game for Back to the Future is one of the worst.
I may
ever.
have tried it. Yeah, it's just awful. Probably. Yeah.
It was made by LJN, as all movie games.
I have the Gigawatt, the Transformer DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
I have that out of the box. It was standing there as a figure, as a robotic man. But then after watching the first one on VHS, I transformed it back into the car.
That's the kind of exciting stuff you're
Wow!
going to do. Middle Aged Mediocre.
That's my life!
Joel did the thing.
I transformed the Transformer!
That the thing does.
Yep.
Good job, Joel.
I thought I would transform this back. It was hard. I had to get the instructions out and shit. I'm not good at those Transformers are tricky.
They got it tough, man. They make it look easy in the movies, but it's not that easy.
No, it's not.
I've yet to be able to do it.
Batu, beep. I make the noise and everything. I just like maybe if I just like saying the noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Beep,
I think you have to
boop.
sacrifice the chicken while you say the noise.
But I finally got it, so now it's back to looking like a car.
Okay, good.
If you're wondering,
I need updates from now on. Every episode I need an update.
you got it.
Is it a cars or a
What's
man?
your gigawatt? Where's your gigawatt at?
Yeah, I need a VCR, and then I would probably... Because I have quite a few VHSs, but my VCR doesn't work.
I stand there at my table and I work on records.
Mm-hmm. I saw you.
Watch VHS.
I watched it.
Yep.
I watched it happen. I watched the magic.
I'm a business.
I saw you
man.
perform the magic in front of me.
Yep.
It was magical.
It took glue. Say
Ta-da.
magic again. I'd be a magical turkey.
You would make a fun magician, I think, at kids' parties.
Yeah, I'd do it for kids.
Like you
not
could do
for
comedy
adults.
magic.
Yeah.
You could like screw up everything.
Yeah. Oh, I'd screw it up.
But like, who was the Amazing Jonathan?
Oh yeah, he was good. I think
Yeah.
he passed recently.
Yeah, recently.
R.I.P.
But you could do like a bumbling magician act.
I could.
Kids would love it.
Yeah, I'd make a killing. I don't know why.
Speaking of killing,
That's why I said it.
we're gonna have a show tonight.
Yeah.
It is Christmas night, and or Christmas Eve night, and some would
You
think,
dragged me over here.
some
I was
kicking
at
and
home
screaming.
in my PJs with Lily. We were
It was
just.
the night before Christmas,
I
and
know.
Joel was at home
He said, "We're recording, motherfucker."
when Cash kicked the door down and dragged his ass on
But I'm
on
here,
over.
so let's do it.
So, some people would think, hey, this is a Christmas time episode.
Uh-huh.
I bet we're going to hear some Christmas
I'm ready.
true crime. We're
I'm
not.
dressed as Santa.
None
That's
of these
why
stories,
I came over dressed as Santa.
None of these stories took place in December or Christmas.
Oh, hold on. Let me get undressed.
But these are 3 true crime stories that Hollywood might want to look into
Oh, okay.
turning into some films.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Netflix series. You never know. But
Movies.
I thought we'd go over these stories. We'd maybe make some casting decisions.
All right. I can cast
Some real
them up.
meat on these bones,
Yeah.
as you like to say.
Oh, man. The meatier the bone, the better.
So we're going to start out. The first 2 are more like they'd have like George Clooney, Matt Damon, maybe like real like
Bank robbery shit.
heist type
Okay,
movies,
yeah.
you know.
That's
So
what I
it's,
think of with those.
but you'd have like an ensemble cast, like maybe have
Oceans.
have you watched the Knives Out movies?
I just watched Glass Onion
I watched
last
it
night.
yesterday.
Yeah, I watched
So you-
last night.
Kind of have that feel to these.
Didn't fast forward it once.
Wow.
Not once!
You watch it at regular speed?
Yeah.
Because it was Batista
Yeah, it was Netflix,
and a
too.
little Mankini, wasn't it?
Daniel fucking, no, man. The guy that plays Bond. Daniel Craig was
Yeah.
so good in it.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the first one?
Nope.
Knives Out? It's awesome. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll watch it now.
Yeah, you should.
Fucking shut
You
this
better
down.
right now.
Shut it down. I'm leaving. You won't let me.
but yeah,
you
like-
won't let me. Get away from the door.
The director of Glass Onion, he could make one of these. So we're going to talk about...
Yeah, so if you're listening, director man from Glass Onion.
I think it's the guy that did... it's Rian Johnson. He did one of the Star Wars movies.
Guy that did one of the Star Wars movies.
He's done some
If
things.
you're listening, listen up
He's one of-
closer.
friend of
Listen
the-
even closer.
Friend of the show,
Turn it up.
Rian Johnson, director Rian Johnson. So first of all, we're going to talk about a mysterious diamond
Ryan Dick.
that caused chaos in Wisconsin before being stolen by a gang of murderous Playboy surfers.
Oh, Wisconsin?
I mean, we're just...
Where the fuck you
Yeah.
surfing at? I think there are beaches in Wisconsin, but still.
So there's been a lot of mysterious cursed gems over the years. Everyone knows about the Bahia Emerald. From the 752-pound one.
Is that the one from the Brady Bunch movie where they go to Hawaii?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a gym, though, was it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It was fought over for years by private eyes, swindlers, just everybody. There was the Pearl of Lao Tzu. There's been a bunch of these, right? Like we used to see movies all the time, like that had gems and diamonds and stuff.
That's all the 80s was. Movie about a fucking gym.
So this story starts in 1876. We're gonna be talking about the Eagle Diamond.
Okay.
So,
hey, take it easy, Desperado.
I like it.
Okay, this isn't Hotel California.
Keep going. Keep going. You got me hooked.
That's all I can think of. I got these 3, man. I can't think when I'm like, on the spot like this. Take it easy.
I'll take it easy, man.
Witchy woman.
There you go. You got it. You're
All right,
back.
stop.
So some dudes in Eagle, Wisconsin were digging up a well. A local farmer's wife named...
For funsies.
For funsies. That's what you do.
It was Well Wednesday.
This farmer's wife named Clarissa Wood, she's like just hanging out, watching them do their thing. And then she sees this big yellow rock like laying underneath the dirt. She would go on to say that she was strangely drawn to it.
Oh.
Like it was just calling out for her. So she picked it up and kept it in her home for years. She just it was like her little,
Yeah.
her cool rock she found.
Her P-Rock.
Someone finally saw it and told her that was a topaz diamond.
So just one person decided.
Yeah. So she realizes she can sell this thing for some money, so she goes to a local jeweler named Colonel Samuel Boynton.
Oh, Colonel.
I say, Samuel Boynton. She sold it for $1.
Which back then, man.
1876,
wow,
$1
I'd be like
was
30 now.
It was a bit. Yeah. So it turned out to be a giant uncut diamond, like worth more than $1.
Yeah.
She tried to buy it back from him. She offered him $1.10 for it.
Ooh.
He didn't go for it. But he bought a bunch of land in Eagle, this Samuel Boynton. He quickly found
Boynton!
And then he found 2 more diamonds right afterwards, which sparked up like a national frenzy. Like everybody's out there trying to find these diamonds. Diamonds don't grow in Wisconsin, though. And no other gems were ever found, so it's most likely that this dude like had 2 others and he just put them there.
Yeah,
And
maybe just broke it off the other one.
But a ton of miners ran out to Wisconsin and started buying land. So,
like little kids.
Yes, miners.
Oh,
back then,
man,
they were expected to already have a family.
That's sad.
By the age of 6.
Let it be kids.
They had
Let it be kids.
They had 6 years, Joel.
Kids grow up so fast.
So Sam Boynton starts selling off his land that he bought because the prices are going crazy. So he basically just swindled a whole bunch of people. He made a second fortune selling real estate, and then skipped town. So then it went missing in 1964 when it was stolen by legendary. It kind of went back and forth between some people.
Yeah.
It was stolen by a surfer group. Led by a legendary jewel thief named Murph the Smurf, or Murph the Surf.
This is the plot, the Point Break.
Kinda. This is where we pick up.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of pick up.
I mean, if we're talking movies in this point, not the remake. I haven't seen the remake.
I didn't either.
But the original is good.
It's great.
Patrick Swayze, R.I.P.
Keanu rolling
John
into
Wick.
his back, shooting into the sky.
Yeah.
Because you can't shoot Patrick Swayze. What was Keanu's name in that? Johnny Utah.
Yeah. Johnny
Utah.
Johnny Utah.
Murph was Jack Murphy. He was a champion surfer who had been making a small fortune robbing jewels from Miami hotels. In Florida, Murphy's crew had organized crime protection.
You think they'd recognize him with the surfboard?
Well, in Florida, yeah, like once a year in Wisconsin, like I'm pretty sure he had to stand out.
But, I mean, he probably has the surfboard when he robs people too.
True.
He's like uses that as the weapon.
It would work.
Hey, don't cause no waves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I hear you, man. You made me lose my place. So they had protection in 1964, up until 1964, but they were driven out. So they went up to New York.
Did they lose a surf competition? Was there like another group of surfers that came in?
Well, I think Johnny Utah infiltrated the group. So they had to get out of there.
Then I bet 2 other groups of surfers had to have a surf competition just to see who was king of the beach.
Probably.
Either way, one way or another. I don't know, but there's got to be a surf competition.
So
your best surfer against our best surfer.
Okay.
All right?
We're combining genres here. So we're taking a true crime, like a crime thriller, and stuffing in like a one of those dance competition movies.
Or like a ski movie.
Or like a ski movie.
Every ski movie, there has to be a ski
movie. So they planned...
I just like for everybody to have a little bit of a role, like this is just this could be like a prequel movie that comes out afterwards about the 2 surfing groups that tried to come and replace the diamond stealing surfer group.
So we'll see like a little bit of them in this
and
movie.
They're good guys. They don't steal anything, but that's another hurdle.
Hearts.
That's another hurdle for them is they got to get past people's perceptions of surfer groups now.
Bad boy surfers.
Because you got these guys stealing diamonds, and they're like, hey, no, we're just in it to surf.
That's right.
And they're like, yeah, prove it. And then you gotta surf against another group.
Go prove it, bro.
Yeah, I prove it every day. Okay, bruh. I prove it every day,
bro.
But the diamond, though.
So
something about a diamond.
Once they got to New York, they decided they were going to rob the J.P. Morgan jewel collection at the Museum of National History. They scaled the building, crawled through...
Still have their surfboards.
Crawled through an open window.
In my head, they still have the fucking surfboard. Then why did we bring these bitches?
Maybe they just surfed up the wall.
He's like, shut up.
Shut up, you gotta have, bro.
Take my lucky surfboard, bro.
That's what the cops need to do. They just need to interview a lot of people. And then first guy to be like, I don't know, bro. All right, you're one of them. So they go through the windows. They ended up making off with the Star of India Sapphire and the DeLong Ruby, amongst others. The theft made them national celebrities. Despite the fact that they left behind a ton of evidence, surfboards.
We can't carry diamonds and surfboards! But what are you going to do once you steal a fucking one-of-a-kind diamond? Like, where's my grandma left it to me after she died.
I mean, that's when you fence it to people.
But I guess, the black market.
Yeah.
I bet if you're an evil surfing group, then you know people.
You know.
you
have connections.
Yeah, for sure.
So everyone got arrested. Most of the jewels were recovered. But later, he admitted to being the Eagle Diamond being a part of this, but they were never able to find it. So to this day, the Eagle, they recovered most of what he stole.
Yeah.
But the Eagle Diamond, to this day, has never recovered. I think, did you ever watch American Dad?
No.
So I think this was used because American Dad does this thing throughout its series, where it'll like veer off into other stories out of nowhere. And
that's so stupid, just to veer off.
And
let's talk about one thing.
It may tell a 3-minute chunk of the story.
Yeah.
And then you may not see any more of it for 14 episodes, and then all of a sudden there'll be a little bit more of it.
Oh, okay.
So it'll and then it tells it.
Yeah.
So one of the first ones they did was Roger and Steve go past this electric plant or something, like a electric a thing, like a transformer.
Yeah.
And it's got a fence surrounding it. Well, the power goes out, and the two repair guys show up, electricians, and then the bushes, they see this gold diamond crusted emerald, and the one gets drawn to it and ends up killing the other one with it, and gets out. And then as the story goes over the seasons, different people keep discovering it in the hands of the other people.
Yeah. And
they get drawn to it and kill that person with it until it finally, I forget what the conclusion was, but I do think they kind of took that
from the emerald here.
But I think this would be a great we got the surfer
Sandra
element.
Bullock's the lady that sold it for $1.
Yes, we'll start back in 1876.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah.
Another one here with some with a really good thief. Back in the early 2000s, there was a wave.
Does he serve?
Wave? He doesn't.
Oh man! Why did I think of that joke on the last story? Let's get back to the last story. So, so would you say there's a wave of diamond robberies happening right now?
I would, brah.
Shaka,
brah.
Man, I was even trying to think of stupid puns.
So I'm not going to edit.
Right there.
I'm not going to edit this, but if you guys want to go back,
hit yourself on the head just hard enough to forget, but not too hard because you still have to remember that we were making jokes about surfing. I don't know how hard that is. Try it a couple times. Try it on your pets first. I don't know. I gotta stop talking. What's the second story about?
I don't know, but I really want us to film some sort of infomercial where one of the lines is, try it on your pets first.
Try it on your pets! Beasley, get in here!
Leave Beasley out.
Kabong!
We're not trying to kabong Beasley. So the culprit of these hotel thefts, the really fancy high-end hotels, the culprit turned out to be this con man.
Inn or some shit?
Like a Days Inn, like a Comfort Inn.
Oh!
A Super 8.
You get that breakfast bar in the morning?
Oh.
Where there's a lady running it who just seems mad every time you take food. It's just not what.
Well, you want to know some shit? So I've stayed in a lot. I've stayed in a lot of hotels throughout my life, wrestling shows. I love hotels.
Yeah.
Our buddy Jason manages a hotel, and there's been a few times where I've been like, can I just live in your hotel?
I was just thinking the other day, I'll probably never stay in a hotel again because that shit costs money and I ain't got none.
Yeah,
but keep going.
I love it. But so I've stayed in a lot of them. I've stayed in the worst, grossest hotels.
Oh yeah.
But, like you said, even in the worst hotel, there's fucking breakfast. It may just be a muffin wrapped up, but there's breakfast that you can take, So, yeah, I've stayed in all kinds of hotels. One of the nicest ones I've ever stayed in, though, was when I started a job a while back, and they had to send me off for training. And they always put me up in a nice hotel. It's in Huntington. I get up one morning, I was there for 3 days, so the first 2 mornings, I just stopped at the gas station on the way into the place I was doing the training, grab something real quick. Third morning, I'm I'm up a little bit early. I'm going to go down, have a nice breakfast, then I'll go to the training. So I go down and I'm thinking, this is a nice hotel. I'm betting like the fucking breakfast is like, bacon and eggs and
like a Shoney's up in that.
like a Shoney's, like a Shoney's.
Like a Shoney's.
And I get down there and I go to walk into the restaurant area, and as I go to walk in, a lady stops me and goes over to a podium like restaurants have.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you a guest at the hotel?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm just gonna grab some breakfast." And and she goes, "Have you already placed your order?" And I go, "No, I'm gonna grab it and then go
peanut butter toast and cereal.
Leave, let me grab a banana and a thing of a weird combination that no one would ever have anywhere else."
Yeah.
And she hands me a menu, and she's like, "Well, you have to order it."
Did you try to eat that?
She's like, "We prepare everything."
That's what I would have done.
When ordered. Like, we don't, and I was like, I go, "Do you have like just a bar, like some stuff for it?" She goes, "Oh, no, we prepare everything." So I was like, "Oh, okay, well," so I'm still thinking in my head, free breakfast. This is a hotel.
Yeah.
So I look at the menu,
I paid.
And there's like 3 levels that you can order.
Uh-huh.
First one is like your base level, and it was $36.99.
What?
Charged to your room. And then went down to like hundreds.
What?
So I told her, I go, "I have to pay for the breakfast?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, thank you." But how is the nicest hotel I've ever been in?
Because they're rich people, and they think that they just don't give a fuck. Like, "Oh, charge it to the room. I'll never have to pay that."
It's insane to me.
And they probably get a lot of people like you, where you're like a business person there on work. You walk around, "Hello, I'm a business person here on work."
I would have described myself as like a vagrant in that place. I do kind of think that, I think being like rich and fancy would suck. It seems awful.
Yeah.
Anytime I've ever been in like a situation where it's like I'm rubbing, where there's people that are way better off than me, and I don't need to be in this place, I'm always just like, this all sucks. Go do poor people things. That's awesome.
They're pretty boring.
We learned how to do it. Anyways.
All right.
So
we veered off again
with these things. At one point, I mean, people started to think that, like, authorities and stuff started to think this guy, like, legitimately, we may have a shapeshifter in our hands. Like, no matter what, we cannot catch this guy. There's no details about him. This guy is like a great con man.
He's a hotel robber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really like upscale.
Okay.
Places that don't have breakfast for free.
Okay. We've been all over the place since the second one started. I'm trying to keep it clear in my head.
We just started it. He would often impersonate a wealthy guest to gain access to a penthouse suite. One time, the actual guest walked in while he was robbing the place. He introduced himself as an undercover hotel employee.
Oh, yeah.
Performing a quiet security check.
What kind of years was this, did you say?
2000s.
Okay.
He was just doing a quiet little security check because there had been a threat. So he's just checking it out. The guy that walked in on him apologized for disrupting.
Sorry, mate.
And then, he apologized for interrupting this guy's room. "I'm sorry, I'll get out of your room now."
Yeah.
Hope I didn't impose. And he just left. Like, they were like, that was a nice man. But he had all their shit. Like, he had taken.
Yeah.
On his way out of that room, he stopped down in the lobby when he was leaving the hotel. Stopped in the lobby, and then sent up the guest a bottle of champagne.
Oh.
But had it charged to that guy's account because he told them that's who he was.
Yeah.
So
kind of nice. But kind of a dick
kind
move.
of a dick move.
Yeah. Kind of
just a little
move.
Tag of like.
That'd be like a Ryan Reynolds character, I think.
Yeah.
Then.
Ryan Reynolds would be great.
Thinking quick on his feet and then a little joke at the end.
No,
there.
we're probably gonna not have him be Ryan Reynolds though, because then people would say that we're whitewashing the movie because this is a Spanish fella.
All right.
So.
Damn, you made me feel bad.
It's
good.
Okay. It's what the internet does. A typical. So there was a theft at a Four Seasons hotel in Vegas. The thief hung around the lobby, just drank coffee. Like, this dude just watched as people came in to investigate the theft.
Yeah.
He said he was this wealthy guest named Daniel Gold. He walked up to the desk as the investigation was going on, introduced himself as Daniel Gold, said he'd lost his room key, and asked for a new one. And then just let himself into the suite where he could hear the actual Daniel Gold's nanny and the kids in one of the rooms. So he hid for a little bit, and then called the room impersonating Gold and told them that they need to ask the nanny, they need to call up to the room and ask the nanny to bring his children downstairs to him. So they did. The nanny grabbed the kids really quick, went downstairs, and while there's an investigation going on to a previous robbery, he was in that room, ended up walking away with $200,000 in gold and jewelry.
Because if you travel to a hotel, you got to take a lot of gold jewelry.
Yes. So the cops like really started. There was a ton of outcry because it's the wealthy. So the cops have to do something.
Sure.
So they take this like pretty serious. You know, they really started investigating this guy. They finally find out who he is. His name is Juan Guzmán. Juan Guzmán Betancur. I don't know how you say it. Betancur. And he had fell out of the sky to get there. Literally. He fell from the wheel of a Colombian cargo plane landing at the Miami International Airport in 93. He had like stowed away on there.
I know you said that. I was like, I don't think you mean literally. But no, you did.
Yeah.
When he fell from the sky.
When he's up in there, while they're flying, those temperatures are like below zero. Think
about how tired he is.
He just needs to put his wheels down and rest. That's just a plain stupid joke. I stole your bit.
Because the planes are up so high.
Yeah, it's so fucking cold.
Yeah.
So he actually, when he fell, like that should have killed him, falling from it, because he was asleep.
Oh.
And he just fell out.
Man, do you ever do that where you're sleeping and you feel like you're falling and you wake up?
Every once in a while, my cat does it constantly and actually falls. So that's hilarious to watch, because he does it everywhere he's laying. So he's like, it's flying.
He's sleeping, though.
He's asleep.
He was tired.
And he just stumbles out and falls in Miami.
Yeah.
The impact of the ground doesn't kill him. He was actually declared dead on the runway, though, because probably, zero freezing temperatures.
I bet his pulse and stuff slowed way down.
But he made a full recovery, and when he came to, he introduced himself as a 13-year-old orphan named Guillermo Rosales. He said he was fleeing poverty. So the story kind of made him a minor celebrity. But his new foster family noticed...
You mean he worked underground in, like, tunnels?
A minor celebrity? Yes.
Okay.
You just know all the forms of minor.
He was, like, digging and stuff.
Minor celebrity. Because they would see...
I'm just dumb.
They would notice that he would disappear and reappear, like, without explanation. They went to a hotel once, and they found him with $200 and a gold chain stolen from other guests. So he kind of, like...
this guy sounds like a badass.
He started this early.
Yeah, he's not really hurting anybody.
They figured out that this wasn't a 13-year-old kid. This was actually a 17-year-old kid living with a fairly middle-class family. He was deported, but then vanished again. So he's doing all this. He's doing this con man shit. Like at an early age already. Was deported, disappeared, and came back.
Hell yeah.
So the craziest thing about this story, though, is how he was caught. So he's living somewhere like in London, and a Scotland Yard detective had been investigating the series of heists at London's like upper class hotels.
Yeah.
And he had kind of like figured out there was Guzmán, and he had unraveled, like he'd figured out every point of Guzmán's life, like he knew who he was looking for, but he could never find him, he could never catch him. Then one day, the detective was at a supermarket. He reached out, like a romantic comedy, reached out to pick up an apple, and Guzmán reached for the same one at the same time, and the detective happened to be noticed his watch, which matched one of the ones that was just recently stolen, and that's how he caught this guy. They both reached for the same apple.
Damn.
So we go from a true crime heist to like a romantic comedy like that. But yeah, this movie, it'd be a fun, like, did you ever watch Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, that's what movie I had in my
So this would kind of be like, So yeah, I don't know who to cast in that one. We would need like a 30-ish year old, like Spanish actor.
I don't know.
And then like a couple detectives. I think it could be a good movie though.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back with what I think would make a batshit insane true crime story. This is a much more detailed one. It is crazy as fuck. When I first heard it, I thought I knew what was going on like 4 to 5 different times. I had no idea. So we'll be right back with a movie that Jim Carrey could star in. I'll say that.
He's retired.
He could come out of retirement.
Come on out, Jim.
So we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So here we go with I said,
it's Christmas.
It's Christmas, and we're talking.
I gotta get to bed soon, so Santa comes.
Have you been a good boy this year?
I shouldn't be silent on the podcast. But
there's audio evidence that you have been a good boy.
I'm a very good boy.
We have made a case for you this year, I would say. What do you want for Christmas this year? What do you hope Santa leaves for you?
I got Vader, man, so I don't know. Santa already has a gift for me.
I basically already beat Santa at his own game.
Yeah, he did. He Sana'd it out.
Checkmate, bitch.
But he's coming. Who knows what he's going to bring? I got to get to bed.
All right. So we're going to get into a story. This took place back in 2015, March 23rd. Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskins, both around between 28 and 30 years old, were asleep in Aaron's Vallejo, California home on Mare Island when at least 2 people broke in and woke them up sometime between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Aaron had just recently left a relationship where he was engaged to be married, but broke things off when he found out that his ex-fiancée had been cheating on him.
Ooh.
He and Denise had met each other at Kaiser Hospital in Vallejo, where they both were physical.
They were right there for a broken heart?
They were both there as physical therapist colleagues.
Oh, okay.
They were both into physical therapy. So
they're dipping their pen in company ink.
Aaron, so 2 people break in, wake them up sometime between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. At around 1:45, 1:50 p.m. the next day, Aaron makes a call to 911. The police come. Aaron meets the police when they arrive, and he seemed really disoriented, like he had drugs in his system. In his kitchen, when the police go in, there was red tape on the ground. He told the police that the kidnappers had told him not to cross that tape. Like, they had set up a little area. Like, this is where he can be. And they said, don't cross this tape or else. Then the police looked up and they see a security camera, like, that had just been attached to the wall in the living room ceiling. Aaron told them that had been put there by the kidnappers, and they told him that they're going to be watching him.
Every step he takes?
Every breath he takes.
Wow.
They'll be watching him.
That's just crazy, though. I'd say they were at least... That's at least like 7 hours after they first got there. They calls 911.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
So it was 8, 11, 12, 9, 12, 9. We're talking like 15 hours.
1 p.m. They broke in at 5.
They broke in at like 3 a.m. between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So let's say 3 a.m.
8 hours, yeah.
To 2 p.m.
Yeah, 8, 9 hours.
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
But
still, they were there for a long time. What the fuck's happening?
They also noticed zip ties on the table. They see that there are swimming goggles laying there that have been blacked out. Aaron told the cops that he'd been zip tied and the goggles had been placed over his eyes, so he couldn't see out them. The police go upstairs and they notice immediately that there's like a strong smell, like the place had just been cleaned, like really cleaned, like well,
yeah,
and like vacuumed, and so they take Aaron in for questioning. So Aaron tells the police that on the evening of March 22nd,
2015,
him and Denise were hanging out together, eating some pizza, drinking some beers, having some whiskey. And they'd been going through some problems in their relationship because Denise had just learned that Aaron had been texting his ex. Oh. They had been having a pretty serious conversation that night where Denise was basically saying, like, look, you either need to decide if you're ready for a relationship with me or if you're still holding hope out for the ex. So they had they talked, they ate, they drank. Sometime between midnight and 1 a.m.
This motherfucker with 2 chicks. This motherfucker. This motherfucker.
Sometime between midnight and 1 a.m., they go up to bed. First, though, Aaron makes sure he goes through it. He makes sure that all the doors and the windows are locked. This was his usual routine every night, he says. Around 3 a.m., they're both woken up by a blinding light, and then they...
Okay. Do you check your windows and doors every night?
I don't.
I don't either. Like, I try to make sure I lock windows when I close them again.
Definitely not the windows. I don't ever. But I mean, the
door.
doors.
I've woken up to sometimes where, like, shit, the door was unlocked all night.
I've done that before.
And it feels shitty, but you're like, hold on.
I try to look, but it's definitely not like
this motherfucker. He's already just trying to, every single night, I go and I shake and rattle these windows and make sure that they're locked. They were definitely locked.
I have a checklist.
Because every night.
You want to see my checklist?
Yeah. It's like when I was a guard, there used to be like this thing where you'd have to go there and like, it was like a timestamp and you had the other piece and you would like have to like press this piece into this piece, and it would like make a timestamp that yes, you did indeed do the round at the proper time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what this guy has by all his windows and doors.
He has a system.
Yeah.
So he says that they're woken up around 3 a.m. by a blinding light.
That was training. You're a security guard now.
Okay, I got it. I'll start applying. So they have a blinding light in their eyes, and they can hear what sounds like a stun gun. They also hear the voice of a white male, but they can't see who it is, because of the light.
Hi, I'm a white male.
But from what Aaron can recall, he seemed to be dressed head to toe in black, like wearing a wetsuit. Surfer.
Oh.
The voice called...
Okay, what's the big deal being head to toe in black?
Yeah.
So am I like a fucking...
You're a suspect.
I'm literally head to toe in black right now. All black shirt, all black pants.
Well, and if you're going to like sneak in somewhere at night and rob somebody,
yeah,
you're going to be wearing all black.
Fuck, I'm like halfway there.
You're there.
Don't tell the police.
So the voice called them both by name and told them that this was a robbery. The voice told them both to lie on their stomachs, and then they had Denise zip tie Aaron's hands behind his back and then have her zip tie his feet together. Then blacked out goggles were placed over both their faces. Aaron stated that before the goggles were put on, though, he noticed that there were 2 sets of legs. So there was at least 2 people that broke in. And then...
Only 1 set of footprints.
And then they were both forced into the closet. So once in the closet...
7 minutes in heaven?
No. Headphones were placed over Aaron's ears, and a pre-recorded message was played. It stated that there was a drug that both of them were going to be taking.
And his car warranty.
One way or the other. We're contacting you about your car warranty.
It's such a cheesy joke, but it fits.
So the recording says, look, you're both going to be taking this drug one way or the other. The drug was like this small bottle, and it had diazepam and NyQuil in it. So it's going to knock you the fuck out.
All right. This does sound like a pretty badass movie so far.
Yeah. So they were told that they could either willingly drink this little drug cocktail, or that it would be injected.
Say less.
It could be injected in. Yeah.
Say less. I'll drink anything.
And if you told me it's diazepam and NyQuil,
yeah,
come here. I have to share it. They told them that they refused.
It should be painless after that. You just drink that, and
they told them they refused or a fight. Things were going to get way worse. They were going to
basically they can do this the easy way,
pretty much,
or we can do it the hard way,
or they could be stunned and they would be cut.
Oh,
is basically what they were told. Aaron said that while he was in the closet, the kidnappers checked his vitals. Like, they put a blood pressure cuff on, checked his vitals, and then, removed the blood. So, like, I guess they were making sure the drug wasn't, like, killing him.
Not
I don't
too
know.
much.
Denise was then taken out of the closet and taken into the next bedroom over. While in the closet, Aaron said he was asked if Denise looked similar to his ex. And he told the kidnappers that, sort of, like, him and, like, his ex and Denise both did have long blonde hair.
Yeah.
But that the ex had moved out in September of 2014. So the kidnappers then leave the room for a short few minutes, and then they come back in, and they tell Aaron they know where he works, they know where he banks, they have, they just like knew everything about him. Aaron said he could hear one of the kidnappers whispering to the other, but he couldn't make out like who was who. He said he was told to keep his phone line open, and they would be in contact with him because he would have to perform a series of tasks to ensure that Denise was kept unharmed.
I'm like, listen, can you guys just text me? Don't call.
Like, calling's like a whole thing.
Jesus. Like, I gotta get ready. I gotta, like, just text
Prepare
me.
myself. Just text.
Just text. I'll get back to you.
He was told that he was going to have to pay the kidnappers $15,000 if he wanted Denise back in one piece. The kidnappers forced him to give them his bank account info, access to his email, and access to his laptop. Then he was brought down to the kitchen along with a spare change of clothes and a pair of scissors. That way, when they left, and he could cut himself free.
Okay.
Then the kidnappers took Denise and left. Aaron collapsed and passed out from the drugs shortly afterwards. Aaron was in and out of consciousness for a while before finally waking up in the afternoon. He found that Denise, his car, and his laptop were all gone. He found his phone and had an email from he had like a Comcast email.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a live.com email address. And he got a email from his Comcast email to his live.com email. In the email, there was a demand that he make 2 separate payments of $8,500.
That's $17,000. They only wanted $15,000. Now they're asking for more. You can't trust
you're
these
right.
thieves.
These sons of bitches.
These bitch whores. I don't even know that. Where did that come from?
Limp Biscuit.
Santa's not listening.
Santa heard that, man.
I hope
He
not.
just lost the president.
Fuck! That fat fucking prick.
There goes like 5.
Cock sucking ho ho ho.
2 more. The kidnappers told Aaron where in his house to stay, because they reminded him that he was being recorded by a security camera, and they didn't want him to be contacting anyone that he wasn't permitted. Like, they just didn't want him calling 911.
And he immediately calls 911.
No, he had his phone and he had Denise's phone, and he was instructed to call his boss and let him know you want me in for work today.
How's he supposed to make money if he's calling off work?
Exactly.
Come on.
You want this money or not?
Yeah,
I gotta work for this shit.
Yeah, I gotta bring the bacon home.
So he needed to call his boss and tell him he wouldn't be in today, and then he needed to text Denise's boss and be like, "Hey, I'm not feeling well, I won't be in."
Yeah.
Aaron contacted his brother immediately because his brother worked for the FBI. His brother told him to immediately call 911, and that by the way he was describing everything, it sounded like this was a professional group.
Yeah. Of surfers?
Possibly.
Man.
They did have wetsuits on.
Yep, they did.
He told him, hey, they know they know the layout of your house. It seems like they're prepared.
Yeah.
So you need to hurry up and call the police, get them involved. So he called 911.
Don't say my name out loud on the video.
Around 1:45 p.m. It really didn't make any sense that Aaron and Denise would be targeted for robbery, because neither one of them were like really well off financially. Like, they're just physical therapists. Like, they're not rolling in dough. It turned out though that Denise was never supposed to be the target. Whoever the kidnappers were, even though they were super prepared, they didn't realize Aaron had broken up with his fiance, and they thought that she would be the one in bed that night. And she had some money. She came from money. So
I came from balls.
lucky you.
Yep. Squirted right out.
The kidnappers, like I said, they had to ask Aaron, like, hey, do they like look similar? Like, is that like, what the fuck did we do? Like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of explained why they were asking him that, because he said that was an odd, like, for them to be like, hey, does the current chick look like the last one we were banging? Like, some weird kidnapping conversation. Aaron told investigators the whole story, but they had their suspicions. For one, the house had been cleaned, really thoroughly. They'd found a small drop of blood on the
Maybe you
mattress.
gotta do that every night before he goes to bed. I check all the windows and the doors, and I bleach the place down.
They found a little bit of blood on the mattress. And
okay, raise your hand if you don't have a little bit of blood on your mattress.
I mean, a little bit would be nice. And it had taken Aaron 10 hours before he called 911. He'd called his brother before he called the police. He had Denise's phone, and his car was gone. Like, these are all pretty big red flags.
Yeah.
This guy did it. The investigators began to press Aaron on his relationship with Denise, recalling that he'd been talking to his ex while dating her. They asked Aaron if this had caused any tension in the relationship.
Which one's the better kisser?
And if Denise had been upset over anything. Aaron stated that Denise had been upset, and then the police asked if it was because she thought he was cheating on her. He responded saying that she felt like he'd been emotionally cheating on her.
Ooh.
The police asked if Denise...
They've had some deep fucking talks.
Yes.
Jesus.
The police asked if Denise had found something on his phone, like had she looked for something to make her suspicious.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, she had gone through his phone, found some text messages where he had told his ex that he still cared about her and that he wanted to work through things with her. Investigators took all of this as a red flag, and they told Aaron straight up they weren't buying the story.
Yeah.
They started to tell Aaron to think about how all of this is going to play out. Told him that, maybe something happened by accident. Did
they try to give you that out.
Did you react in a way that, you regret?
We know how bitches be sometimes. They be talking.
Nudge.
Yeah. This isn't me. I'm trying to do like an impersonation of these police officers.
I got you.
Yeah, I would never talk about how the bitches be sometimes. Who am I to say how anybody be? Oh, I don't love the bitches. But these cops, that's what they would do.
Yeah.
That's a ploy that they would like intact and.
That was a.
I don't know.
Yeah, yes, you're basically right.
Yeah.
So they, they're saying like they knew something happened to Denise, but it definitely wasn't some guys breaking in wetsuits.
Yeah.
Drugging everybody and kidnapping her. So they bring up Scott Peterson.
Like, why would they leave the? I don't know.
Like they ask Aaron like if he had heard about Scott Peterson in that case, and they're like. Everybody like thinks of him like he came in and told us his big sob story, but now everyone knows he's a liar, and now like everyone looks at him as a murderer and a liar. And he's like, people are going to look the same way at you if you're coming in here and telling us this big lie. And so they're basically saying like, you don't want to be like made fun of and a killer.
Yeah. What if they roast you on social media?
Didn't they tell Aaron?
Hashtag bad boyfriend. That'd be you.
That'd be you. So the one detective tells Aaron, in the video, he says, I'm not looking for an alive Denise anymore, and I know that. We're not looking for a dead Denise, is what he's telling Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron took a polygraph
Man, it's
test.
such a mind game between fucking these cops and these.
Yeah.
Which it has to be. Because you're not going to be like, hey, did you do it? Yeah, I did.
You're not going to get very many people being like, that was me.
Yeah, you got to like fucking, oh man.
He complied with taking a lie detector test, and he was told by the detective that did it that there were no question in their minds that he'd failed the test, that he'd failed it miserably. He remained adamant, though, that he didn't do anything. They were telling him, though, outright, you're a liar, you're responsible for what happened to her, what'd you do with the body.
Probably wasn't even a real test, he just took like some cords off the phone or something and wrapped around them, and
the detective was making the sounds.
Yeah, beep. And like the other cord would send the detective, and his arm would just draw those little spikes and valleys and stuff. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, it says right there, you're lying. We know how bitches be.
We've seen interrogation videos. So they had Aaron.
Look, I've seen now. I just recently rewatched Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah.
So fuck, dude. I am the FBI. Dexter, the latest season of Dexter, and now Silence of the Lambs.
So all you've been doing is watching
and American Pie. So I'm
also the biggest crime movie of them all.
Sure.
That guy fucked a pie.
Fuck the pie.
That's got to be a law. That's got to be against the law.
It is now.
Be fucking pastries.
No.
All willy nilly with
like
your
a
willy nilly
pepperoni roll. If they're big enough, I could see that. It is West Virginia's delicacy.
What a weird one to pick.
Pepperoni roll.
So
now with glazed filling.
They brought in Aaron's brother, the FBI.
They called.
They bring him in, and they're hoping that he can talk to Aaron and get Aaron to confess, like brother to brother.
Yeah. So we'll get like Mark Wahlberg and his brother, the other Wahlberg.
And he's like, "Yo, hey, say hello to his mother. She's my mother too.
My mother too.
Did you do this? You got to tell me if you did this.
Fucking guy.
All right, you didn't do this. I'm gonna go tell her mother." Aaron, after this, he's like, "Hey, can I get a fucking lawyer?"
Yeah, sure.
So, they don't really have any evidence to hold him. They do begin, like, a really widespread search. They're looking for the land, water. They're looking for her body. Lieutenant Kenny Park of the Vallejo Police Department, he starts appearing on all the news channels. He, does the updates of the media. And he's saying, like, we're taking every possible action to find Denise. He says at one point in the thing, she was possibly kidnapped for ransom. But, like, in everything he said, he's basically saying to everybody, she's dead, Aaron killed her, whatever. Like I said, though, they had no actual evidence, so they had to release Aaron.
Poisoning the jury pool, the eventual jury pool.
But they did basically make it, like, out to Aaron, like, don't fucking go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time until we're bringing you back in. Aaron's car was found at the Department of Veterans Affairs nearby. There was no evidence found inside the car. Gave officers no clues to go off of. There was nothing. But then an email shows up sent from Aaron's live.com account with the subject line reading, Denise Huskins. This email was sent to Henry Lee, a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle, and it states, as stated, Ms. Huskins, which in the email they there was a typo. They accidentally put Ms. Lee. I'm assuming they were like looking at. They're saying Henry Lee.
Yeah.
It says Ms. Huskins will be returned safely tomorrow. We will send a link to her location after she has been dropped off. She will be in good health and safe while she waits. Any advance on us or our associates will create a dangerous situation for Denise Huskins. Wait until she's recovered and then proceed how you will. We will be ready. The email had a voice recording attached to it.
XOXO.
XOXO. The voice recording was a female's voice stating, okay, my name is Denise Huskins. I'm kidnapped. Otherwise, I'm fine. My first concert was with Bethany and her mom to Blink-182 and Bad Religion.
Everyone's seen Blink-182 but me.
Then she says, earlier today, there was a plane crash in the Alps. 150 people died. So,
did she do that?
She's confessing to that.
This does have turns.
So Henry Lee passes the email on to the police. The email, of course, proof of life.
That's a movie.
So she shared personal information, the concert, and the plane crash she was referring to was a German Wings airline plane crash that had occurred on March 24th. So it had just happened that morning.
Yeah.
She was taken on the 23rd. So now the police began to backtrack their stance a little bit on Aaron, ask him to come back down to the station so he could send a message to the kidnappers from his phone. The audio recording was played for Aaron and his father. Both recognized the voice as Denise's. Analysis revealed that the email had been sent from a Singapore-based anonymous email service, anonymousemail.com, which allows the sender to enter in whatever from address they want.
Yeah. So they weren't really in Singapore.
Right, and I could send one from there and put your JoelGantComedy at Gmail, and it would look like it came from you.
You just put me out there.
Well, people need to know your email for your magician kid shows. So the police have Aaron's phone, right? They had kept a hold of it, but they didn't want to be bothered by it, so they put it on airplane mode. So,
what?
Yeah. So when Aaron comes back down to the station, they play the video, they play the audio for him. And then they give him his phone back, and they want him to send a message to the kidnappers.
Yeah.
So when he turns the airplane mode off, he gets a shitload of missed calls and messages coming through from the kidnappers.
Wow.
They'd been trying for hours to contact him, but since the police didn't buy his story at all, they just put his phone on airplane mode and missed all of this.
Police be policing.
I don't understand why you're not. If you think this guy is the guy that killed this girl,
look through the
why
phone.
are you not looking through his phone?
Yeah.
For tracking data and shit. But I'm not a cop. I don't know.
Hey, just back the blue, okay? Okay.
The investigation later discovered that the calls had come from a burner phone purchased at Target
in Singapore
for the last goddamn time. Nobody's in Singapore.
Okay, sorry.
On the morning of March 25th, 2015, Denise showed up. She's alive and well. She arrived at her parents' home in Huntington Beach. The kidnappers had driven her 6 hours down to Huntington Beach and dropped her off somewhere around her parents' home.
They kind of did her a favor then.
Yeah. I mean, Denise told the police that the kidnappers had taken her from Aaron's house and put her in the trunk of Aaron's car before she passed out from the drug cocktail. She said that during the ride she was kind of in and out, and at one point she could tell that they were in LA traffic. She could tell
people were yelling, "This is the worst LA traffic I've ever seen!" I don't know why they're from New York if they're in LA yelling.
Visiting.
Yeah. All right, it's a side character. He's got to be wacky.
And she said she's pretty sure they went out to the country somewhere. Because she said, like, everything was just, like, really quiet.
Yeah.
So, like, the house was really, really quiet.
Cows were like, moo, we're in the country.
Cows were like, moo.
And the driver's like, this is a really peaceful country road that we're driving
I was
on.
like, this is the emptiest country road I ever saw.
It's nothing like the highway where we were just on.
She was zip tied to the bed and had been made to wear the blacked out goggles pretty much the entire time. She said there had been at least 4 kidnappers that she thought she could, like, figure out there was at least 4.
These fucking 4 people are splitting $18,000
$8,000.
in L.A.
So,
like, I'm trying to get 1 month of rent fucking rounded up.
She said, though, that they did seem very well organized. The kidnappers had used her driver's license to figure out that she was from Huntington Beach.
Wow, fucking couple detectives there.
Yeah. And they wanted to drop her off somewhere away from the investigation in Vallejo because there was just, a lot of ruckus.
The heat was on.
So they dropped her off a little ways away from her father's house. She walked to his house, but he wasn't home. So she asked the gardener if she could use their phone, and then she called the police. Denise told investigators that the kidnappers are taking care of her. They allowed her to take showers and brush her teeth. With Denise returned safe and sound, the police turned to a new theory.
She cost the kidnappers money.
Yeah,
we need $18,500.
What didn't they ask for, like 100 more?
Well, yeah, they originally 15, but
So
then
maybe
they
they were
asked
like
for
fucking cost of gas.
Yep. Yeah. It's all got to be factored in.
Yeah. Room and board.
Yep.
She used our toothpaste.
Sheets. She's taking showers.
Yeah.
Are they blacked out showers? I don't understand.
Our water bill went up.
What the fuck? Yeah, because she takes long showers.
So the police asked Denise
Hair in the drain.
how she got her purse and jacket, because she had that with her.
Yeah.
She told them the kidnappers, they knew it was hers. They gave it back to her. Like, they didn't keep things. They're
the nicest kidnappers.
They treated her really
ever.
well.
Yeah.
They asked Denise if she had ever asked the kidnappers to let her go. Like, well, did you ask him not to kidnap you?
Yeah.
You didn't. What
you
are we
guys
supposed
not
to do?
do this?
So what are we going to do?
So that's how you get out of it.
We're
If you're
going to
out there,
prosecute somebody for something that you
and
never
you're
told them not to
getting
do?
kidnapping, just be like, can you please not do
And
this?
they have to let you go.
Like, oh, you don't
Yeah,
want to?
they have to.
That's why the key to good. That's why on their side, the key to a good kidnapping is just like shutting them up immediately,
treating that person well,
so they
though.
can't ask not to be kidnapped.
You're right.
So
if we were to like make a list of like the best ways to be a kidnapper, that's up there.
That's right up there.
So yeah, she said that she did like no, I never really like I protested. Yeah, like I didn't want to be kidnapped, but like I wasn't like, please, sirs, will you let me go?
Yeah.
She said that she did ask them if they were going to hurt her, like are they going to kill her or anything, and they told her that there was no reason for them to do any of that. The police asked her if she had been sexually assaulted during the kidnapping, if they had touched her inappropriately or done anything against her will, like other than the kidnapping, I suppose, and the drugging. She said that no, they hadn't, and it was that the whole thing was very weird, that all things considered, they treated her extremely nicely. And then she asked for a lawyer. So the police kind of thought, like, she's acting real calm for someone that just went through this.
Yeah, 2 days of being held hostage.
Yeah. Denise told the police that when the kidnappers dropped her off, they duct taped.
It was like a vacation.
That they had duct taped squares of cardboard over her eyes.
Uh-huh.
And that they told her, hey, when you get out of the car, keep your back to us. We'll drive away, then you can remove it. So she told the police that as soon as they drove away, she ripped them off. So they go to the site of where they dropped her off at. They don't find any evidence. They don't find the duct tape anywhere. They don't find any evidence of this.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean anything. Like, doesn't mean she threw it to the ground.
Bird could have taken it.
Bird could have taken it.
Yeah.
The police then go and speak
I pick up every piece of duct tape I see.
Really?
I have a collection.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, your house smells weird. The police then spoke with the gardener that Denise had borrowed the phone from. The gardener told police that Denise seemed really, normal and calm when she approached them. She didn't act like there had been anything wrong. Like, everything was still cool. She just needed to use the phone. So the police announced to the media that they believed the kidnapping was a complete hoax. The situation was immediately compared to Gone Girl. Yeah, I can't say it.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that was like that 2015. I don't know if it just came out, but it was in everyone's mind. Lieutenant Kenny
It was
Park.
like a best-selling book before it was the movie.
Yeah. Gillian Flynn. I can say her name. I just can't see the title of it.
Gone Girl?
Gone Girl.
Gone
Got
Girl.
it. That takes a lot of work for me. Gone Girl.
You did it. Well, that's our episode.
So Lieutenant Kenny Park comes back out. He addresses the media again. He states that it was confirmed that Aaron and Denise were in a relationship, and that from now
they
on,
were fucking. It's confirmed.
From that point forward, he would not be referring to them as victims or witnesses. He said that Aaron's statement was such an incredible story that investigators had initially had a hard time believing it, and that upon further investigation, they were not able to substantiate any of the things that Aaron had said. He stated that in his opinion, a tremendous amount of resources have been wasted, and that Aaron and Denise had plundered valuable resources away from the community. He said that it was Aaron and Denise who owed the community an apology for taking the focus away from real victims. He finished by saying that upon conclusion of the investigation, that if they feel there is sufficient evidence, they will be requesting criminal charges be filed against both Aaron and Denise.
Jesus. So guilty until proven innocent.
Well, the media runs fucking wild.
Not the media.
Aaron and Denise lies about everything. It's a giant hoax.
Yeah.
Go on, girl, So Denise had continued communication with investigators, but then she speaks with FBI Special Agent Jason R. Walter and tells him some things that she says the kidnappers told her not to tell the authorities. One of the statements was that she'd been raped twice, and that it had been recorded both times, that they were going to use those recordings to basically blackmail her,
Damn.
like, don't tell anybody we're going to release these. The kidnapper who assaulted her both times wore a condom and had told her that he was doing this because he was being instructed to by his boss. The second time he did it, he said that the boss was making him do it again because the video recording wasn't what he wanted. And he said, this time we need to act more like we're boyfriend and girlfriend. That way, like, if anyone sees this, we're going to say that you were willing to, like, be a part of all this.
What the fuck?
Another piece of information that she wasn't supposed to share was that one of the kidnappers had accidentally let it slip that he'd been in the Marines. One of the kidnappers also told Denise that he had been inside Aaron's home 5 different times in the months leading up to the kidnapping, scouting the location out, and at one time had made it all the way to the top of the stairs, and they were going to go ahead and do the mission then, but at the last second they aborted it to further work out some of the details of the plan. So they'd been in the house a lot, creeping around.
If they had the sex tape, they did it the second time to make it look like she's the girlfriend. Wouldn't they have to take, like, her goggles off? Are you fucking her with the goggles on? Like, she doesn't get a look at the better look at the guy then?
Maybe they're like, say that you're really into goggles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some girls that would like some.
He's like holding up index cards of her lines.
Like, that could be my opening line. The girl just give him, like, blackout goggles and be like, hey, you don't have to see a thing.
I want to try it.
I want to try it.
But the police continued to focus on the hoax angle. They offered both Aaron and Denise immunity. Basically, whichever one of you want to flip on the other
I've seen
first,
Survivor. That's hard to get.
You won't be prosecuted. So then,
And go.
after Kenny Park's press conference, where he's basically like, "Fuck those 2 kids,"
Yeah, he was.
the reporter from the San Francisco Chronicle, Henry Lee, he gets another email. This time from huskinskidnapping@hotmail.com. And this one states, I speak for the group that kidnapped Miss Huskins. That's what the email says. No. We transmitted certain information to you earlier. Most of that was made public, except I don't believe any article mentioned that the sound clip was delivered as a link to a site in which users could anonymously post media files. Basically saying, like, media never even bothered to say, like, the original email was sent, from a anonymous website. Like, it's not actually from Aaron, the way that it was portrayed. We are a group of what I suppose you would call professional thieves, though we have not been doing it that long and don't identify ourselves as such. We're a group of this, but we don't think of ourselves as that.
Yeah, we're not with that.
We are more than 2 and fewer than 8. All but one of us.
I hate riddles.
All but one of us hold at least bachelor degrees, including one from your alma mater. Some of us have a tech background and are very good at overcoming electronic anti-theft measures, stealing late model cars.
And Steve once touched the rim of a basketball rim.
It was super cool.
He didn't dunk, but he touched the rim.
And for us, that's
Me and
awesome.
Eric were there. We saw it.
And reconfiguring systems as necessary to make the vehicle saleable in a foreign market. He goes on to talk about how like they've been stealing cars from Mare Island for a while. Like they steal cars, they fence them to somebody.
Let me list all our crimes we've been doing real fast.
They said that recently though they were operating out of an abandoned warehouse on the south part of the island, but recently they shut down operations.
This is the Fast and Furious.
But then they say Ms. Denise Huskins was absolutely kidnapped. We did it. We will provide incontrovertible proof of that, and the Chronicle will break it. We will not turn ourselves in, nor reveal our identities. Even after we come out, we don't think there will be any link allowing the police to identify us. Where'd it go? Absolutely kidnapped. But it is still risky, and as things stand now, we can apparently get away with anything. We would rather take the chance of revealing the truth than live in a world where someone like Denise is victimized again and again. We have no prior link to Denise and did not know who she was until the night of their operation. We believe the woman that was there was Andrea Roberts, so they think that's Aaron's ex.
Yeah.
We will come forward with a statement and evidence in the form of photos taken inside various homes on Mare Island and property taken. Apparently nothing short of that will convince the police that any crime took place. Prior to the kidnapping, we did not commit any violent crime against persons, nor did we ever enter nor tamper with any household. So they're basically, they're going to say that, like, you know, we only take from people that can afford it. We don't ever mess with children. We don't mess with any military stuff, any government, you know, they're saying like, hey, we're good guys.
Yeah, Robin Hood.
We do some things, we're good guys. The bottom line, inconceivable as it sounds given what we have done, is that we didn't really want to hurt anyone. We are young adults, fairly recent college graduates, and up until now this was a bit like a game or a movie. We fancied ourselves as sort of an Ocean's 11 gentlemen criminals who only took stuff that was insured from people who could afford it. The horrifying reality of what we had become and what we were doing did not set in until being confronted directly with Denise's suffering humanity. We now feel like the pieces of shit we have become.
What the fuck, dude?
And though we don't have the courage to turn ourselves in and spend the rest of our lives in prison, we will not stand by and see the life of a really good person ruined. We dropped Denise off at her home in Huntington Beach because it was more or less equal distance to the Bay Area, and because we were horrified of what we had done and wanted her to have her family and close friends around to help her recover. If you are willing to break this story and publish our statement, we will allow it. We would have prepared it by 10 a.m. So he goes on to say he understands that nobody wants to protect a criminal, but it's the only way they can really make this work. The only thing we ask in return is that you pass a message to Denise for us. We do not know how to reliably reach her. Tell her again that we are unspeakably sorry and ashamed for what had happened, including the matter resulting from an argument within the team. I think that's probably the rape. Tell her that all threats against her and her family are lifted and she is safe.
Did they put rape in parentheses?
Maybe. Tell her we will come forward and try our best to correct the situation. So, yeah, they're kind of like blaming, like, hey, I know we kidnapped this girl, but hey, police, media, quit being fuckheads, you know. So attached to the email was a photo. The photo.
It's like the opposite of trying to get away with it, if this is all true.
Any identifying data had been taken off the photo, like the file name and stuff. Like you can go in and like erase like where it was taken, when it was taken. They scrubbed it
clean.
You're a detective.
I've seen movies.
In the photo, a water that was attached, a water gun that had been painted with black spray paint and had a flashlight and laser pin attached to it with duct tape. 2 days later, the kidnapper sent another email to Henry Lee. This one being a 10,000-word email.
Oh my god.
The email basically restates that they had kidnapped Denise and held her for ransom after breaking into Aaron's home. They restated that the kidnapping wasn't a hoax.
Again, we're really sorry. And Steve touched the rim.
The email said that the kidnappers were deeply ashamed of themselves, regretful of what they had done. It said that Aaron and Denise suffered a life-threatening ordeal beyond what most people could imagine, and that they are absolutely dismayed.
This is so clearly Aaron and Denise.
They are dismayed, ashamed, and dumbfounded that the police would turn against the victims and accuse them of making everything up and threatening them with prosecution. They go on to say that it also is a shame that so many journalists who casted the victims in negative light and led readers to do the same thing, readers and viewers. So the emails included a ton of details that only the kidnappers would know. But they do go out of their way to paint themselves in the most positive light possible while repeatedly saying, like, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're really sorry.
We're good dudes. So they sound like, I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, I know I did all those horrible things, but I'm a good guy.
I wanted to feel alive.
They stated in the emails that they were able to break into Aaron's home by drilling through one of the windows. They made sure to point out that they went...
Boy, I bet that was a pain.
They made sure to point out that they went out of their way to make the break-in and kidnapping as comfortable as possible for Aaron and Denise. So with all of this,
we let him check all the doors and windows. We know that's part of his
We knew that was his thing. So
Steve was jumping up and looking in the window. He's the one that can jump high.
they get the police. Henry shares all this with the police again. So the police has all this info. They have all the emails, and they kind of tell Henry Lee,
we're fucking done with
they're like,
this.
look, this is all just a part of their fucking game.
Yeah.
Man. Like, all you're doing is feeding into it.
Like, at this point, I don't give a fuck what happened. the kidnappers, if this is real, sound like little bitches, so fuck these guys.
Once this happens, the kidnappers send Lieutenant Kenny Park an email on March 30th, 2015 at 11:41 a.m. And it reads, I won't read the whole thing because it's a lot. Basically, it says, this is the last message we will transmit for at least several months. First, it was wrong of you to issue... First, it was wrong... Oh, wait a minute, that's the next one they did. So they basically sent one telling him...
So they did message back.
Sorry. They basically sent him one saying, you're a piece of shit, and you are going to come out with a public apology. The Vallejo Police Department are going to come out with a public apology to Aaron and Denise. You're going to say that you're wrong. You're going to say that they did nothing, that they're the victims. And they're said, like, don't make this some bullshit apology. Like, we want a real apology from you guys.
We got an apology expert over here.
And then they basically make a threat. Like, if you don't do this, some bad shit's going to happen.
We're good guys, and we're sorry.
And they do say that. They're like,
but bad shit's going to happen.
Like, we...
Don't make us do what
we don't want to... We don't want to be good guys doing bad things, but we will if we have to. So the next morning at 7...
I hate everyone involved in this.
At 7:11 a.m., another email comes through to Lieutenant Park, and this one is immediately taking back what they just said. They're like, look, that was pretty heavy-handed of us. They say that we're not actually going to do anything.
Psych!
But they go on to say, while the threat is, we're not going to do anything, we would still like it if you would apologize. That we think it would be super cool of you to apologize for what you've done. But then it goes on where he's talking about, the kidnapper's talking about how they feel like the police department have already done them in, like that they're constantly looking over their shoulder now.
Uh-huh.
Like they're starting to have nervous breakdowns and things. And he says the kidnapper's like, I'm only going to find peace if I go overseas, maybe teach English or some such. Like I just got to get away from here.
What?
And then they end the email by saying, if you do manage to pull me out of a hole someday, good job, well played. I'm not going to hurt anybody. But depending on where I am at that moment in time, I might have another spray painted squirt gun. Or maybe it will be a real gun, empty. Or maybe not empty. Don't think too hard about that. Just aim true and get it done. If it ever comes to that. So...
Fucking dramatic much? Jesus!
So, for weeks and months, the media continue reporting on the case like it's a hoax. I mean, it's just constant, every night on the news.
Yeah.
They have video footage of Aaron and Denise, just living their lives, and they're like, look at these two motherfuckers.
They sent the email. They did. I'm the media. It's me.
So on June 25th, 2015, a home invasion takes place in Dublin, California. That's right nearby. So the FBI agent I was talking about, the special agent, Jason Walter, he's been conducting an investigation into the kidnapping. So he receives a notification from the Alameda County Sheriff's Department that they were investigating a home invasion that had taken place on June 5th. At around 3 a.m., 60-year-old Chung Yin and his 52-year-old wife Lin were woken up by an intruder shining a bright light in their faces. Their 22-year-old...
So her name was Lin Yin?
Lin Yin.
Lin Yin.
Okay. Their 22-year-old daughter was asleep in the next room. The kidnapper assured them that their daughter was safe. They were also told to lie on their backs, or their stomachs, I'm sorry. But when the kidnapper reached down to zip-tie Chung's hands together, he began to fight back.
Ooh.
While they fight, Lin runs to the bathroom, calls 911. While on the call with the dispatcher, you can hear Chung Yin yelling, he's run away already. Chung was bleeding, but he had fought off the attacker.
Hell yeah.
And when police arrived, they found the intruder's phone, a bag of zip ties, and other supplies laying nearby.
Ooh.
A detective on the case traced the phone back.
They're dorky looking, but that's when you need that belt thing that you put your phone in that.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I wouldn't want to be caught dead with one of those.
When you see a fanny pack.
Yeah, or a fanny pack, sure.
So they traced the phone back to where, the residence where the owners should be. The detective calls the owner at their home, but she's informed that person's currently not there. However, that person had just recently lost their phone.
Oh.
And they say if you want to find them, they stay quite often at a South Tahoe Lake property that they own. They're not here right now. You'll probably find them there, though. So they go to the Tahoe Lake property. The place is an absolute wreck. It's just a mess. There's stuff strung all over the place. But they find a black ski mask, duct tape, gloves, zip ties, other tools that can be used for home invasion. They also find a partially empty bottle of NyQuil, a bottle of hair dye, Vaseline, a penis pump. This dude's living life.
Yeah.
The police collected everything for evidence. The man who was at the home was taken into custody along with a white Mustang that was found on the property and had been reported stolen. Most of what was found in the residence could be linked to the home invasion that occurred in Dublin, but Detective Misty Caruso began to link some things to Aaron and Denise's home invasion as well. She found a BB gun that had been painted black with a flashlight and red laser pointer duct taped to it, and the white Mustang's GPS that had been stolen showed that the Mustang had recently been to Huntington Beach, California. The detective also found a male blow-up doll dressed in all-black clothing with wires attached to it so it could be manipulated, like a puppet. So that way, it could make somebody think there's two people here. Because there's another person moving around.
God.
Goggles covered in black tape were found in the home. And,
what is happening?
And in the black tape, there's a blonde strand of blonde hair. So the man taken into custody was Matthew Mueller. Or Mueller. Mueller was raised in Sacramento. He's a son of a teacher. He comes from a pretty good background. They often went hiking and scuba diving. He's raised in a very nice environment. Great family. But he was bullied throughout his youth for his weight. He didn't really like sports. He was more into books and music. After school, he joined the Marines and became obsessed with fitness. He was a really lean guy after the Marines. He was in the Marine Corps band, was by all accounts a really good soldier. He earned a ton of medals, and he received an honorable discharge as a sergeant. After he left the Marines, he went to Pomona College, became involved in volunteering to help the homeless. In 2001, he traveled to Prague through an academic program, fell in love with a woman he met over there, married her in 2013. They moved to Boston. He attends Harvard Law School. He's at Harvard.
He's at Harvard?
After graduating,
I like them apples.
he begins to teach at Harvard. He was very well liked and specialized in immigration law. In 2008, he gets diagnosed with bipolar disorder and prescribed medication for it, but he doesn't take it because he doesn't like the side effects. So he does his best to hide that he has this, but it gets really hard for him to do it. And him and his wife leave Boston, and they go to San Francisco in 2009. And he begins working for a really successful law firm. He also got on some new medication for the bipolar disorder that he actually took, but the medication gave him insomnia, which turned into psychosis. He began hearing voices. He'd hear people talking about him. He became paranoid. He also believed that the Chinese government was out to get him.
Oh.
Just him.
Yeah.
So his wife leaves him. He's disbarred from the law firm he was working for because he refused to give clients money back to them. So the police began to look into him, and they discovered that he'd been linked to a number of crimes. In 2019, a woman was sleeping in her apartment near Stanford, California, when someone broke in and carried out the same shit that had been done to Aaron and Denise. He forced the woman to drink NyQuil, forced her to provide him with her banking info, attempted to sexually assault her. The same thing happened again a month later. In 2012, another woman reported that a man had broken into her home, but she'd fought him off. On Mare Island, between August 2014 and January 2015, right when he moves there, multiple people reported a peeping Tom who was looking into their window in the middle of the night. When he moved to Mare Island, he moved a block away from Aaron's home. Detective Misty Caruso had heard all about Aaron and Denise's case and contacted...
Maybe it's not Aaron and Denise.
Turns out it's not. She makes the Vallejo Police Department aware of, what's going on. And the police department and the media immediately turn their shit around. The same fucking news channels that reported the case as a hoax would go on air and say things like, "We turn our attention now to a case that some have called a hoax in a real-life Gone Girl scenario." Like, the same motherfuckers that just 2 weeks later have been saying the same shit.
Yeah.
It took years for the Vallejo Police Department to publicly issue Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskin's apologies. Matthew Mahler represented himself in court. He's found guilty, though.
If you represent yourself...
He is a smart dude, though.
Yeah.
He's on a... there's video of him being interviewed.
I think you're about to say he's on a podcast. Like, this motherfucker has a prison podcast.
He might. But yeah, that story, when the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, he did it. Aaron did it.
Yeah.
The motherfucker's lying. She's dead. Then when she shows up, I'm like, oh, well, they fucking did it. They set up the whole thing to get money from, somebody. And then, but, when I first watched it, the story was titled, basically, the kidnapping that the police refused to believe. So I was like, well, the whole point of this thing is that the police are assholes then.
Yeah.
Or it wouldn't be titled that. So I'm like, so who the fuck did this? Then when I find out that there's a goddamn blow-up doll with wires attached to it, I'm like, this is a fucking movie.
I bet he was working on another one so he could have one on each side. And when he moved
he
his
just
hands,
have a whole 6 people, but everybody's they oars were in a line.
Yeah.
They were
all
very
moved their
organized.
hands at the same time, very synchronized.
6 of them, their legs never touched the ground because it dangled. But I thought they floated. We were looking for vampires the whole time. But Jim Carrey, when you see Matthew Mahler, that's Jim Carrey. He can play him. We just got to get a couple
blonde chicks.
But I think that would be...
That's just a weird-ass
a fucked up
story.
Movie. I feel like the Coen brothers would do great with it.
Yeah.
Because, all their movies have crime and, violence and shit, but there's always that, underlying comedy. So I think it'd be a great Coen brothers movie.
They're listening.
In the video that the Henry
Lee
interviews Matthew Mahler while he's in prison, and he keeps saying do you now, because the case was still coming up, trial was pending and everything, so that he's like, would you like to take this opportunity to apologize to Denise and Aaron or whatever? The whole time Matthew's like, well, I feel like it's in my best interest not to make any statements. I don't understand in news interviews where they just keep asking questions. It's like sports where they talk to the players afterwards. They know the cliche. They know nobody's going to give them a real answer.
Yeah. Plus, he's crazy.
But yeah, that's so it turns out to be just one dude. But honestly,
well, she didn't get killed.
The planning was amazing.
God, the cops just went so hard on them.
The cops immediately.
They couldn't just be like, "Look, we don't have an idea. We don't have a clue."
Yeah.
They just threw them both under the bus.
And then, did not walk it back for quite a while. Because God forbid they admit they're wrong. But yeah, I think, gotta make that one into a movie. I think that'd be a great movie. Because it just goes in so many directions.
Let's get started.
Oh, we'll do it.
I'll play Denise.
Perfect. Just wear that Santa wig. All right, well, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
I hope everybody gets what they want, or just have a good...
I hope you get what you deserve.
Have some good holidays. Yeah. Until next time, thanks for listening. Like and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple if you're listening on there. Share us with your friends. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks. Love you. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Let's be friends.